Welcome back in. Being a caregiver can be a lot, but help and resources are out there. Pamela Myers is with us today to talk about the Alzheimer's Association's Empowered Caregiver programs. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks for having me.
You know, a lot of people are caregivers these
Yes.
days. You're actually seeing a growing number of people, right?
We are. We have over 236,000 Ohioans living with this disease right now. And we expect next year in 2025 that to be 250,000
Wow.
people. So we know that for every person living with dementia, there's 3 to 5 people that are caregivers. So it's a lot of people.
And that's hard. You know, it isn't a disease that doesn't just impact the patient, it impacts the family too.
It sure does. It sure does.
And so what are you doing to help these folks out?
So what we do at the chapter, and actually we're a nationwide company, so all over the country, we provide education and support for our families. And we're just introducing a new education series called the Empowered Caregiver. And we're really excited about it because it really addresses a person-centered approach, which means we're really focusing on that individual living with dementia. And it's not just a, one-size-fits-all caregiving, but really looking at what that individual person needs. So we're really excited about that.
So you have something coming up, I believe, tomorrow, right?
We do, out at the Lakes of Monclova. We're doing our program about behaviors,
Okay.
which typically is a very popular program because a lot of caregivers come to us, they'll call us, and they have a lot of questions about behavior. How do they manage behavior? What triggers this behavior? What do I do? And so this program really digs into those topics and what we can do about behaviors.
And it's, this person maybe suddenly their behavior has changed,
Right.
With this disease. And how do you now navigate
That's right.
all of that?
One of the things that our beginning program is called Building Foundations, and we talk about a lot of those things in that introductory program because sometimes people get the diagnosis and they don't know what to do. All of a sudden they're labeled a caregiver. What does even that even mean, right? So we talk a lot about managing stress. We talk about building a plan, getting your help and support in place. And a lot of people, managing behavior is one of the toughest things. And so that program really talks about the different ways that you can, strategies that you can use, what triggers behavior. So we're looking forward to the program tomorrow.
And that's tomorrow. And then you have another one coming up on Friday, too.
We do. And I believe that one also is talking about supporting independence. So, looking at that individual as a person, how do we help them with their eating, with their bathing, just their daily activities? Because Amanda, this is a progressive disease,
Right.
which means what works for you today may not be working for you in a month from now.
So those are just the two going on this week. You have some in the future as well. And these are in areas kind of all over Northwest Ohio, right?
They are. We serve 24 counties here in Northwest Ohio, from Grand Lake St. Mary's to the Michigan line out to Ashland County. So we have programs like this all over the service area for our families and their caregivers.
And what can people expect? Maybe this is kind of new to them and they're like, you know what, I know that I need the help. I know that I need the support. What can they expect when they show up at one
When
of
they
these?
show up, hopefully they're going to be in a comfortable, known place to them. There's going to be a volunteer or a staff person that's going to be facilitating the education program. And there'll be an ability to have materials, take-home materials. That's another thing I love about these new programs is that there's homework, there's take-home materials, so people can really work on their individual plan. But there's an opportunity to ask questions. We usually have some information if people want to take it home, and so it should be a pretty relaxed kind of environment.
And meanwhile, you all offer hotlines and a variety of other support systems.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I did not mention that we have a 24/7 helpline. So people can call that day or night with any kind of question, concern. There's trained people that are answering the phone. And at the local chapter here, we follow up on about 20% of those cases that need a little extra follow-up.
So jot those numbers down, and then for the sessions that are coming up, do folks need to register for those ahead of time? Where can they get that full schedule?
Sure, they can go to alz.org/CRF and they can register for the program. But walk-ins are more than welcome. People can just show up and come. We welcome everyone.
And is this something will we bring the caregiver and the patient, or just the caregiver, or who do we bring?
It really depends upon the caregiver and the person living with dementia.
Okay.
I've been in plenty of programs where the person does come with their caregiver.
Okay.
It just depends on what the situation is and what stage maybe the person is at, what the needs are, what the questions of the caregiver are, but we're open to all.
Okay, so very important tools and programs here for people in our community, because as you mentioned, more and more we expect more people to get that diagnosis, and more families who are going to be impacted. So thank you for helping all these folks, and thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.